is at its halfway point. And they're still going. And people don't even do maintenance to them. They still friggin' go.
I know it. It's crazy.
If you're going to spend, $30 grand on a car, why would you waste your money?
We're in Middle Tennessee. Had to stop and get some coffee, and right next to the gas station was a little gun store. And we stopped in there. Here, once we pull around, I'll show you the front of it. I asked about videotaping in there, and the guy wasn't too happy about it. So his loss. I was going to give him some publicity.
Yeah.
But
oh well.
Either way, the name of the place is S&K Sporting Goods, and he had looked like a SIG 40, couple of Glocks, some Ruger stuff, a Smith & Wesson M&P 1522. Wanted 500 something bucks for it, which that's about right for today's market. So, anyways, S&K is the name of the place, and I would tell you where they're at, but I'm not going to, since he wouldn't even let me film in there.
Crap. It's a really great episode. Oh, that's boat derby. That's cool if you guys are going to have this stuff. I've got no issues with you guys. You guys can, it's America, buy whatever you want, you can have whatever you want. Like I said, but especially you, Scott, with 2 kids running around the house. He said not only should they know the first major rules of firearm safety, not only that, is you should be weekly chucking rounds out of that thing so you know exactly how it works, you're quick on it, you're proficient with it, or don't have it.
Yeah, there's no point in having it.
It's like going to get you killed.
Yeah, that's like people that think that just because they got the carry permit that they're
safe,
they're adequate. Or the worst, period, the worst are hunters.
I bought a gun and now I'm safe.
Hunters.
I have a sheep.
Guys that are avid hunters are the worst, period, because they've been around guns all their lives. They handle guns often, sometimes daily. They think that they know guns. They think that they know what they need to know. But there is a big difference between going out there and being on the offense and you hunting an animal that is scared and running from you.
And when you flip the tables.
Versus you being behind the ball right off the bat because A, you're concealed, so if you do have to, well, that'd actually be B. A, because you have to react. You have to be vigilant and see what's out there to cut your reaction time down, but you're reacting. You are not hunting, you are the hunted. And so you have to react. Then you're most likely concealed. So that's another thing to put you behind the 8 ball. You've got to come from concealment. You being a good person and not a criminal have got to worry about what's behind that target.
Yeah.
You've got to worry about what's behind you because you don't want your children right behind you because then they're in the line of fire. Exactly. There's all these things you have to think about that, and then you add in there a malfunction. You add in there that gun that you bought and you took your handgun carry permit course, and you know guns because you've shot your 30-06 or your 12 gauge for years and shot a few rounds target practice with that pistol. that gun, whenever it malfunctions because you're running and you limp wrist it and it stovepipe jams on you, what do? If you haven't trained and practiced, you look at it. You look at it and
deer in the headlights.
Deer in the headlights. Some people have been shown to stop running when that happens. It is so foreign to them. And hunters are the worst.
I'd pitch the gun and keep running if anything.
I damn sure wouldn't stop.
And like this.
That's right, yeah.
Like a fucking squirrel.
I look like Daffy Duck out there. Right? But, I mean, it's just one of those things to where, and that's one of the biggest things that you fight as an instructor, is it's not, the best students in the world are women and are people that are completely new, that have never been around guns in their lives. And they do better. That's right. And then you get into, now, military, they're usually pretty good students because they have been conditioned to be good students. And they get it. A lot of, most of our military, lately especially, is reactionary. Yeah, they have to react because the rules of engagement for our military after the big offenses are you react. You have to wait until you're shot at. And so there, you have to add in the concealment thing, and there's a few other things, but they're used to that. Now with police officers, not all, God love our police officers, but with the police officers, the problem there is, all of those things I just said about the military, for the most part, are true. But with police officers, you have so much attitude that is ingrained in them, and I don't know why. I don't know where the cockiness, the
more cockiness from the badge than the gun.
The condescension in it must be well, it's not necessarily I'm better than you. It is, I think it's that the police officers get jaded to everyone because they are dealing with the scum of society.
And they got so many lying.
More often than not. They're used to everyone lying to them. They're skeptical of everyone. They are used to most of the people they deal with being a subpar human being.
So when they come up against a good one,
and they can't. That's right. They can't help but be jaded. After a while, it's like they. Now, granted, some of the older cops, it's like they pull back out of that. But I see, like Jason, he's jaded. I mean, hardcore jaded right now. Now, I would say
that should be the most humble guy, knowing that.
Well, I don't know. I think that along with that comes a defense mechanism that they inadvertently put up that manifests itself in cockiness. And I don't know. I'm no psychologist or psychiatrist, but it's what I've seen.
How's he doing, anyways?
Real good, but we won't talk about that right now. We won't talk about that. So, but yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of good people, but like your friend that's going to Afghanistan, that's definitely the type of person that needs to get some training. He needs somebody else to stand there and load his magazines. You get, say, if you only got 1 or 2 magazines, that's a problem. Yeah, you need 4, 5, 6, 8 mags, period. I'm sure that he may be able to get them issued or something like that over there, but what needs to happen is someone, the bare minimum, needs to load his magazines for him, and within the different magazines, put some dummy rounds. And let him go through there and let him get used to not knowing if and when that stoppage is going to happen, and run through those mags. And you can do that just by short loading the magazines. You don't even necessarily have to.
Yeah, I'm thinking you got 20 and you don't.
Yeah, you don't even have to do that because no matter what, it's still the same action. It's still, once you get a little bit more advanced, you can get into a little bit of diagnosing. You know, looking to see, are you in slide lock? I mean, is your bolt locked back? Are you empty? Or is your bolt jammed up there? You got a stovepipe? You know, you can get into diagnosing stuff, but pardon the pun, him being a pilot, but a crash course, just strip that mag and throw another one in. Strip that mag, throw another one in.
That's one thing that I've noticed with my block. I've got the 2 factory mags and then one other mag. Regardless of that, though, with the mag release, none of them fall out really well.
We can solve that. That's not a problem.
You almost have to physically grab it or do a shake like that to get it to come out.
That's not a problem. We will definitely solve that. But one of the techniques that you can do if you need to
there's
get
still
that,
roads and it comes right out. It's got a little weight to it.
Well, you can give it just a flip like that, almost like you had a pocket knife when you're going to deploy a pocket knife like that. Just as you, with you being right-handed, you're hitting the button conventionally.
Yep.
You just, when you hit that button, as you hit that button, because you've got it turned in like that, give it a flip as you're drawing your magazine like that, and most of the time that'll snap that magazine right out of there. But the blocks being that they've got polymer magazines, sticky. That they can be, and so, but yeah, I can definitely take care of that for you. That's not a big issue.
Nice ambulance. Jeez, a couple of Airbus things.
You hear about the Dreamliner?
RJs, yeah. It'll survive, but
it will.
A beating for a little while.
Well, I mean, you look at all of them go through. Look at what the big Airbus, what it's going through or went through.
380.
Yeah,
That is a big slope.
Yeah, it is.
It's a big ass.
Have you heard about the newest model? It's the C5M, the new mod block for the C5. I'm pretty sure it's called the M. They just took one of them, and the C5M now holds more aviation records than any other aircraft, period. Whatever it is, distance, I think it was distance without refueling, most cargo hauled over, I don't know, it's just all these crazy stuff. The new M has got these huge, new, super efficient engines, and it's faster, it holds more cargo. I mean, it's really a machine. I was watching video on it.
When I was working at an airport, man, when those things would come in, it was
They are huge.
Because that's the biggest thing that comes into Mickey Tyson, and
yeah,
that, my God, is that a machine?
If someone that's never walked into a Galaxy, if they've never walked inside of one, they just don't understand how big they are.
Yeah, it's unreal.
What is it? It's the Tupelo, the big CN, the big Russian with the 6 engines.
Oh, that name does sound familiar.
Tupelo, the AN.
That's God, is that thing?
60901. I don't know. It's some.
Why did your map stop?
Yes, sirree. Good old gut bomb. I mean, you guys that are watching this right now, sorry, I'm experimenting with the zoom.
Fellow Illinoisan, I'm so sorry.
God, man, I can't imagine living there, or California, or DC. But the scary thing is that the way that things are going, I may not have to imagine it. We let this crap go on too much longer.
No, we'll probably be the safest place for us to live.
green line down there,
Jaw jacket.
that's where we were supposed to have turned. The blue arrow up at the top in the middle, that's where we are. So we are, as it says, rerouting. That's what we get for running our mouths.
Building looks like, but I don't see it. This will go around to it, I'm sure. What's the speed limit on this dude right now? There's some people. Now, we're in the world too park. It's not like there's a bunch of bikers. That's it right there.
There we go.
Which way are they going? Don't tell me they're leaving.
No,
There's no way they're leaving. It's 12:24.
there, right over here.
Okay, there we go. Okay, now to find a place to park.
And here we go.
Call 1-800-957-5285 in 6-month study, one of the largest of its kind ever conducted. Just visit us on average of 30 pounds of weight does not require active exercise. But out there, due to overwhelming demand, there is a strict limit of one per household. You are overtaken up to 30 pounds or more. It is crucial that you write down this number for your free 30-day trial with Sensa. Call 1-800-957-5285.
There's James Yeager.
Is that the ones on the TGO they show at the Avatar? Are you a TGO member?
No. But I know what you're talking about. I've seen that, yeah.
That is Avatar.
Yeah.
That's everybody's friend unless proven otherwise.
What kind of, that's a
Boston Terrier.
Boston Terrier? Yeah.
I've got a miniature schnauzer that's got diabetes. And I call it a rock schnauzer.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of attitude. You know, he's all hat and no cattle. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. Big dog, little dog, doesn't matter. Can't see shit.
Yeah. And that's one eye. The other eye's there. There's nothing like it.
I've given it to you. I'm talking about
Did you get that, had that printed up?
when you're over 65, it ain't too long. It's like $30.
Indoor pistol range, steel range,
Archery,
1,000 range, action target range, clubhouse with taps.
They got a TWRA.
$120 a year?
Yeah.
What?
That's why the closest we got around here is in Clarksville. It's a 400-yard range down there.
Well, there was a guy from Oklahoma that when I got initiated, he drove to Oklahoma and joined the gun club. And I was thinking he was somewhere else.
Now, there's something about Tullahoma down there. I'm not sure if that's private. I think it may be private down there. I think that's where Barrick goes down there and shoots over there. Down there.
All of a sudden, there's a lot of people.
Well, fucking
What's the agenda? We're going to actually go somewhere and understand.
No, it's basically here, I think. All the speakers are going to be here. They're going to start speaking at 12 o'clock.
To her work, by the church, around town, and to my work. You know, just my morning commute and send it to her. Well, I did it. I didn't record nothing. You know. I mean,
well, yeah, you can't tell on those if you're doing anything. They've got I saw they got a Bluetooth Wi-Fi deal now where you actually have a monitor, but that's one of the things we didn't get a chance to get it to work. But this has got Wi-Fi built in, and I can use my Android phone and use it as it'll feed live on the Android phone. You can control the zoom off your phone, and so I can set this up someplace and use my phone to actually control this. It's got a lot of neat little features on it. So.
He did. That's a good thought.
And then we'll go from there. All right. Yeah, I will do it. See you later. Bye.
An activist here in the area, ran for Congress, has put his time, his talents, and his treasure into our causes and our the things that are important to us. Is going to lead us in the prayer. Father God, you're the God of creation. You're the God of provision of everything that we have. Rain that falls on the just and the unjust. You're the giver of life. You are the giver of unalienable rights. You are the one who is our Redeemer, the provider of our Savior, Jesus Christ. We say thank you for shining down on us today, loving us, caring for us, those here and those close to us not able to be here. We ask your blessings on the men and women who today wear our uniform, stand in harm's way to defend this republic. We ask your blessings on those in positions of leadership, both here and afar, local, state, and federal. Give them wisdom, Father. Help men and women in these positions to ask for your wisdom. Grant them a listening ear to their constituents. We thank you for the men and women who poured out blood and treasure in the history of this nation to build this republic. And Father, we speak a word today against those who would destroy it. Defeat them in their aims. Strengthen us, Father, in our resolve. Give us hearts that are sensitive to our neighbors. Keep us meek and mild, but strong and courageous in our desire to support our fellow man and to defend the Constitution that you oversaw through 56 men 236 years ago. Father, let this group be a mouthpiece of righteousness, and bless all who speak to this group today. I pray in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Just in reference to people who have given time and lives in service to our country, I'd like to take a moment and recognize either former or current servicemen, active duty or reserves. If you did, you're a veteran. If you're serving, would you raise your hand, please? My son is currently in Kandahar on his second tour in Afghanistan. Very proud of that young man. Very proud
of all of you to be associated with you, especially in these days with an all-volunteer force. The one thing that we all have in common, whether we're black or brown or white and serve, whether we come from Tennessee or California, we serve the needs of the American flag. Doesn't matter what camo pattern you have on, you've got a flag on your shoulder. Stars and stripes. We always start with a prayer. We always start with the pledge. Derek Wagg is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Derek is another activist who's a friend of mine for many, many years. He deserves our thanks and our respect. He too has put his life on hold to run for elected office. He serves with the Tea Parties up there and is an active, tireless patriot up in Warren County. Please welcome Derek Wagg. Welcome to the safest place in America today.
Amen.
There's a nice flag out here. Put it all face this one right here. Closest to it. Hold up nice and tall, my friend. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I've been to a number of rallies here on this space, and it is amazing how many faces that I see here that I've never seen before. Thank you so much for coming. One of the things I love about doing this is I get to meet so many new people, people who will be friends of mine for the next 5 years, 10 years, and so on. Today's rally is part of a national effort. There are rallies like this going on in the state capitals of all 50 states at noon local time. This is a Tennessee event.
Yes, it is.
Each of those events has an organizer, somebody who, again, has taken their time, their talent, and their treasure, put their life on hold to serve the country, and to serve their God, to serve the people of their state. Two organizers of this rally, stand right here with me. The pretty one over there, her name is Terry Corello. The less pretty one is Jason Weller. Jason's from Knoxville. Taking this and run with it, and I'm looking forward to many, many more events with you guys over the years to come. I do want to take just a moment to recognize somebody else before we go on. Yeah. Stay right up here on the shirt. Name is your man?
Very quick. Yeah. Thanks.
She is walking across the country.
And a prompter.
No, that's what I need. They want me to say a few words.
He was the Word of God, representing everything that God wanted to say to us. Hebrews says that he was the representation of the very character and nature of God. What does that mean for the Second Amendment crowd? It means this. People, men, because Jesus was fully man, men stand up and represent intangible things, things we cannot see, things we cannot touch. You here today represent something that we cannot see or feel or touch. It's called liberty. It's called freedom. Without you, it's just an idea. It's still true, but until you guys show up, until you guys are here, it's an idea that has nothing we can grab a hold of. Look around you today. Listen to the speakers that we've got. What they're saying, what they're embodying is the idea that we have the right, given by God, to be armed, to defend ourselves. Under the Second Amendment.
Yeah. So they want you to say some words?
This is what we're going to do today.
Well, at least you're among friends.
It's about Tennessee and what we're going to do. No one represents that voice for Second Amendment issues in Tennessee better than, my opinion now, than the Tennessee Firearms Association. They work on Tennessee issues for Tennesseans here in Tennessee. The executive director, the head of that group, the founder of that group, who's done this for over a decade at his own expense, is John Harris. And John's here today to talk with us. Please welcome John Harris, the executive director.
Woo!
Appreciate you watching. Thank you. Thank you.
This is better. Decades ago now, back in 1995, I helped form 11 other men Tennessee Firearms Association. And at that time, Tennessee had just adopted in the prior year its first civilian carry law. I'd be curious, how many of you have carry permits? The Republican Party was the minority party in the state of Tennessee. The federal government at that time was in full assault on the Constitution and the Second Amendment. Back then, almost every person running for office in Tennessee would tell you that they were good on the Second Amendment. On promises of constitutional soundness, the Republicans asked the citizens of the state of Tennessee at that time to give them complete control of state government after 150 years of Democrat control. Protect them when the citizens were forced to defend their constitutional rights against their own elected representatives. They learned that the citizens of Tennessee, like the ancient Romans, would make an example out of them when necessary. However, like Lexington and Contour, the defeat of Deborah Maggart was not the final victory. It was only the first shot. There are more battles to come.
I'm sorry.
But as our founders earned their freedom of speech by dedicated sacrifices, the citizens of Tennessee and also three of those legislators who developed at least the citizens legislature. The next guy up is a small business owner who decided he'd had enough and laid down his business hat and took up a legislator's hat. He was a freshman legislator last time around. He's done great work. Please welcome Mike Sparks. I hope everyone can hear me. Just recently, Representative Carr, in fact, if we could have our legislators just come on up, if that's okay. Is that all right? Yeah. I know don't be speaking to Bill Kitchens here, Representative Carr, but Representative Carr and I had lunch with Governor Haslam here recently, and all due respect to Representative Carr, it was talking about education and those vouchers and all that kind of issue. The Governor asked me, he said, Mike, what's going to be the big issue? And I said, guns.
Yep. Amen.
Unfortunately, you know, I for one, I don't mind disagreeing with John Harris. I love you, John. You know, he's strong. Well, I'm not trying to get the debaters thing. I say stay unified as conservatives. Now, the best plan for Democrats to do is divide and conquer. And I guarantee you that's their plan.
Yep.
I know we can disagree and have debates all day long and get listening. I know it's because, but we've got to stay unified, folks. It's simple. It's protecting the Constitution. I'll be honest with you, I'd rather be doing something else than standing right here holding this microphone. I'd rather be having lunch with my hot wife right now. I really would. In fact, I'd spend time with her here a little bit. Give God the glory for it. Been married 24 years. And thank God. Woo!
endorsed by the Democrat chairman who worked against me 2 years ago. People might think, Mike, you're crazy. You're crazy. It's a badge of honor for me. But what it shows is the Democrat Party has went so extreme left. This Southern conservative Democrat left the party is what happened. And I also got endorsed by Michael DiGiorno, so if anybody wants to give me grief about it, give Michael DiGiorno grief too. But folks, we're living in a different time today that we need to cling to our guns and cling to our Bible. That's right. I'm to my Bible as a Christian, folks.
Yeah.
So, I'm a fan of Governor Haskell and Speaker Harwell. Speaker Harwell believed in me when nobody else did. And it wasn't about big money for Speaker Harwell. A lot of folks about big money. You know what I got out of pocket in this position? Not a damn dime. There's people in debt running for office. Good Lord has my back, and I don't mind disagreeing with anybody in here. But I like Governor Haslam. But when he asked me, Mike, what's the big issue? Guns, unfortunately, for me. I'd rather be talking about jobs, this economy, helping small businesses, finding affordable ways to educate our youth. But what's happened is the federal government forces us to take a stand. That's right. Get into defensive mode. I don't want to have to be here, to be honest with you. But I'm proud to serve with other representatives like Joe Carr, Representative Senator Bill Ketchum, Senator Jim Tracy, who's running for Congress, our next congressman. By the way, remember I said that now. Folks, let's stand up and be unified. And I don't want to take too much time, but you know, this nation was one nation under God. It was Ronald Reagan himself that said the answer to men's problems is between the covers of the Bible. Yeah. If we ever forget that we're one nation under God, we're going to be one nation gone under.
Yeah. Woo!
I know people disagree with me, but folks, we need to pray for our leaders. We need to pray for them. I'm worried about the federal government. They can't keep their own house in order in D.C. They know nothing about education when it costs $29,000 a year to educate one of their children. Look at Chicago, and they're going to come tell us to clean our house. They can't get their own house in order. But folks, pray for our leaders. We need your prayers. I know I need your prayers. I know the good Lord's had my back. People might think you're crazy to get endorsed by a Democrat chair work against you. No, that's scriptural. It even says a righteous man, even his own enemies, will be at peace with him. And I don't even feel righteous, to be honest with you. I just know I try. I knelt down beside my bed before I come up here and ask the Lord to give me the words to say and the courage in which to say them. I love John. I think the world of John, and he is pretty strong. We need folks like John Harris. Give John Harris and Tennessee Firearms Administration a big round of applause, folks. When I was a kid, I heard something that I don't hear much anymore. People would talk about these United States. Now we talk about these United States.
Yeah.
As if we are just one big country, like France or Spain. But we're not.
That's right.
We are a republic that has 50 sovereign units that have agreed to work together on something.
That's it. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Everything else, they said, whoa. Leave us alone. Don't tread on me. No taxation without representation.
That's right.
Mike said, Mike made the distinction between the federal government and the state government, and it is there. One of the things that you're going to see coming up in this legislative session, Tennessee state legislators are going to be stepping up and saying, Tennessee for Tennesseans. Y'all do what you want in California.
That's right.
Yourselves first. Y'all do what you want in Illinois. But this is Tennessee. We operate a little differently here.
Yeah.
Bill Ketchum is a senator in our legislature. He's done some
legislation that they're going to be submitting this year in the area of the Second Amendment. They're going to share with us about that. Bill, go on. Please welcome Senator Bill Kessler.
What a day. It's a beautiful day. God's blessed us to be here. I'll ask the gentleman right here to turn your post around. The last 4 words. Shall not infringe. That's what Washington is trying to do, is to infringe. I say no. I say don't tread on me. Modern flag on top of the Capitol. Last week we came into session. Every time the General Assembly meets in Nashville, that flag goes up. We put that flag up last week. We've got a lot of work to do. That's where we need you. And your cousins, your brothers, your friends all across the state to make sure that you tell everyone to get hold of their legislator. Get behind the bills that we have. Representative Joe Carter is going to talk about his bill. I introduced a bill last week, House Bill 40, that says no state dollars. That means your dollars. No state dollars or any person employed by the state of Tennessee will be used to enforce any bill that comes out of Congress or any executive order from the White House. How many of you guys out here are at least a half a century old? 50 years old or older? This body that doesn't count for you, Donna. You're still 21. When I was in college, the printer in the computer department was in the basement of my dormitory. It was about the size of this piece of granite over here. Today we have computer games with graphics that are so realistic, it's almost like that. You're there. We've had to learn a lot in the last 25 years. We've had to adapt. We've got new media. We've got social media. We've got the internet. Thank you, Al Gore.
Al Gore.
We have something of an internet sensation with us today. Many of you are familiar with him by his handle, Hickok45. I have to say this, please forgive me, until this rally, I had no idea that guy even existed. I'm supposed to be the one who sort of dialed in the new media, right? But what the beauty of that is, like I said earlier, new friends every time we get together, with new voices, with new perspectives, with new things to say, or saying the old thing another way, and connecting with people that we wouldn't otherwise do. One of the things I want you all to do is shake somebody's hand that you met here today, somebody that you don't know. So the next time we do this, there's someone you can call and go, are you going? And then you can bring somebody else. Because when someone like Hickok45 speaks to this topic,
y'all are here to listen to. He knows what end of the tube the round comes out of. 45! I've got it right here. Is that good? Louder! I like the high-tech stuff, but it's good to see everybody. Good to see everybody here. I'm sorry he said all that. I'm not really a public speaker. They asked me to say a few words, and I agreed to do that. I can't stay too long because it is Gun Appreciation Day, and I have a lot of those military-style assault weapons I need to get back and appreciate. I don't really know what I'm going to say. I'm laying to you all because I've been talking to you, so I've been great to put it to so many viewers here and chat with you, meet your children and everything. Well, I thought I would have a few minutes to think about something to say that was halfway intelligent. You can expect that from me. But I just want to say a couple of things. Not sure what, but it's an important meeting we're having here. It's a very important gathering. Are not typically very political in the YouTube channel that my son and I run, but we mainly do shooting videos and we just enjoy shooting thoroughly. However, as things have digressed in a lot of ways and evolved here the last few months, we can't help but speak out a little bit and get a little bit more involved than we have in a more overt way. And so we're happy to do that. It's a shame. There are a lot of good people, a lot of well-meaning people on both sides of this issue. I'm sure you know some of them in your own family you work with. And we're just in a society that is split in a lot of ways. We have so many folks who are raised in an urban environment in society. They don't grow up as I did, and maybe many of you where their dad, their mom had an M22 caliber rifle to shoot. They had land on which to shoot in. It's unfortunate. And so the guns are scary to them. And they have no reason to think there ought to be a lot of guns around. They're scary items. Maybe their friends feel the same way. And that's the battle we fight, isn't it? Because if you've grown up like many of us, like myself, firearm is like a loaf of bread. It's like a crescent wrench. It's not a big deal, you know. And that's just so foreign to us to even imagine people thinking that way. The only people that go into a shooting, I always say, are people who never try it. And that's the problem.
Amen.
They have just not tried it. A lot of really sensitive, artistic, intelligent people that we find ourselves pitted against quite often. And we watch them on television. We're not watching YouTube, right? We see them, we enjoy their work, and we hear them interviewed, and we realize, wow, that person's on a different planet than I am when it comes to firearms. And it saddens us a little bit and perplexes us a little bit. I understand, the reason I just mentioned, they grow up in a different environment. And so it's our job to carry the torch, to educate people, to set a good example, which we try to do as we make YouTube videos. And most of the people making YouTube videos and doing the kind of work we do, I think they've set a pretty good example. As I'm sure all of you all do. You wouldn't be here today. So we appreciate the work. It's perplexing. People worried about a magazine. How many cartridges that magazine holds? It's such an irrelevant issue when you get right down to what the real problems are. And I think all of us here at this gathering know that. And I've gotten to the point where I'm arguing. It's so stupid. Arguing about whether the moon's made of green cheese or not. It just makes no sense. It's just very, very, very difficult. So we just got to stay in touch with our representatives, set a great example, make sure that our friends are doing that. I'm sure everybody here is doing that. To make sure we are spreading the word on that. And that's the answer. We've got to make our voices heard. We're not going to change a lot of people's opinions on things if they are just, they're set. They're in concrete. It's slow to change that. So we've got to make the people up on the hill here, and that even more important hill in Washington, hear what we have to say. It's
we just have to do that. The thing is that I don't understand why people can't see this so clearly. Talking about magazines, types of ammo, types of firearms, how crazy is that? The Second Amendment is totally irrelevant if all of us don't have some pretty effective, dangerous weapons.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we're carrying muskets around, single-shot muskets, we don't have a Second Amendment, you know.
We have a second.
Evil AR-15.
That's all we got.
Become civil derision and all sorts of things, but it's a symbol of freedom to me. It really is. So anyway, y'all keep doing the good work, and I appreciate all of you. Thank
One round at a time.
All 30 of them.
Earlier, about liberty. One of the founders, after outlining the military forces that were marching down the road towards them, said, "Give me liberty or give me death." Woo! No one here believes that man wanted to die. Wow. But what he was saying is that liberty is so important that he'd prefer death over spending a single day as less than a free man.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen. Yeah. Right.
Use both of them. Okay. Both sides of your mouth. Right now we have a dichotomy governmentally in this country. On one side we have the federal government who is doing its best to try and take away from everybody, or actually take away from somebodies, to give to other somebodies.
Yeah.
And on the other side, we have some state governments who are pushing back against that notion.
Yeah.
There are some state governments that understand that you don't feed Peter by taking food off of Paul's plate.
Yep. Not according to our law. Give everybody a fair amount.
And we've tried. We've had election after election after election. We've sent people to Washington, and look what has happened. Now, in Tennessee's defense, our federal delegation is pretty good. Less than Republicans, anyway. The two senators. They're not perfect, but they're pretty good, all things considered. But they get up there and they vote, and when they vote well, you've got California and Illinois and Michigan and all the rest of these states that are voting badly, and our good votes get lost.
Yep.
How do we fix that? We fix that right up here. We fix that by sending good men and women to Nashville, here in Tennessee. People who will say to the government in D.C. when they're wrong, not in Tennessee, not in my state.
Yeah.
The only way we're going to be able to do that is to have courageous legislators who will stand up and say to Washington, D.C., that ain't happening in my state.
Yeah. Oh, no.
State Rep Joe Carr is one of those guys, in my opinion. He has a piece of legislation here that will depend on Tennessee's sovereignty and will push back against Washington's tyranny. And he's going to come talk to us about that. Please welcome Tennessee State Representative Joe Carr. Everybody hear me?
Yeah.
We are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you it's my God-given right found in the Bill of Rights to defend my life, my family, and my property. Now what I've done, some of you may have heard of, and I need your help. I filed a bill recently and I want to read it to you. Read it. Any federal law, statute, rule, regulation, or executive order implemented or executed on or after January 1, 2013 shall be unenforceable within the borders of this state if the law. Or executive order as described in this subsection. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the deal, right here. If they take our Second Amendment away, they're going to take every other amendment in the Bill of Rights. Second Amendment is an assault on the Bill of Rights and our personal freedoms and our state sovereignty. We have got to draw the line. What I'm going to do is draw the line, and some people are saying you can't do it. You know what? Or not. By God, I'm not going to wait to find out because the people at the Alamo who died didn't think they could do it either. Volunteer state. We believe in liberty and freedom and personal responsibility. If you don't believe your history, why don't you look up Andrew Jackson at the Battle of New Orleans? Jonas A. Houston or Davy Crockett at the Battle of the Alamo. Why don't you look up the guys in World War I and World War II and the Vietnam War? Why don't you ask these guys who served your country here today? Allow the federal government to come and assault the Second Amendment. Today is only a beginning. I want to thank you for being here, but here's what I need you to do. Here's what Senator Ketchum and Representative Senator Beavers, here's what we need you to do. We need you to contact at least one more person. And then we need you to go to your email inbox, your outlines, and we need you to email your state representative and your state senator and say, we demand that you sign on to House Bill 42. We've got to push back against Joe Carr! Joe Carr for president? Is that what I heard? At least you wouldn't be able to yell, you lie, at him.
There you go. No doubt.
We're all here. This is all real to us. We feel it in our bones. We believe it to the very core of who we are.
Yes, that's right.
We believe in liberty and personal responsibility. And so we arm ourselves, frankly.
Yeah.
Because we know that some people will use their liberty to try and come after life, liberty, and property that Joe talked about, that each of us have a right to pursue for ourselves. And that's where it changes from something that's an abstract concept to where the rubber meets the road. Because we're not having this conversation because it's just a nice conversation to have. Stuff happens in real life. About 25 years ago, I was a restaurant manager in a fast food chain. I sent my guy out at closing time to lock the front door, and as he opened the door from the kitchen, from the back of the house to the front of the house, a customer pushed him back inside, and I didn't even realize what was going on. I said, "Don't let that guy back." And then I saw the gun. The police later asked me, "What did the guy look like?" I said, "He looked like this." That's the truth.
Yep.
I can tell you what the gun looked like. And for me, it ended well. He marched me around the store at gunpoint, back of the head, emptied the safe and blah, blah. Took me to the back of the store, went out the back door. Today, they're shooting people in drive-thrus because they don't like their ice cream cones.
Yeah.
My story ended well, as it were. Not every story ends that way. Our last speaker, I'm proud to say, is a friend of mine. Her name is Nikki Joseph. She is the recipient of the NRA's Civil Luddington Award that is awarded to exceptional ladies who embody activism and accomplishment in the area of Second Amendment and Second Amendment rights. After you hear her story, you will understand why I say that if she had the choice, she would never have been nominated for that award, let alone receive it, let alone be here. But laws that were passed with good intentions failed to protect life, liberty, and property that belonged to Nikki. She has devoted herself to...
Who needs a firearm when you got this trained
I'm
killer?
proud to stand with her in that. And I am proud to welcome here my friend, Nikki Gosser. Please put your hands together.
Hey there, everybody.
Hello!
There's a lot of you guys here, and it's impressive.
Yeah.
My name is Nikki Gosser. I really, I feel honored to be here. I wish I was not here, but as you never know what is going to happen in life, I am here to speak with you today about the importance of our Second Amendment and why it's so important to protect yourself and your family. Back in 2009, my husband was murdered. He was shot 6 times right in front of me by a man who had been stalking me. I'm a right to carry permit holder. I was at the time also. But because my husband and I worked in a restaurant that serves alcohol, we ran a mobile karaoke business, I had to leave my legal permitted firearms locked in my vehicle at the time because Tennessee state law said that you cannot carry a gun for self-defense in one of those establishments. So I followed that law. The man that was stalking me did not have a handgun carry permit. He brought that gun in illegally. I asked management to please remove my stalker. When they confronted him to ask him to please leave is when he pulled out a .45 and shot my husband, stood over him, and continued to fire 5 more rounds.
Oh my God.
In front of myself and about 50 other patrons inside of the restaurant. I'll always wonder now if I possibly could have stopped that from happening. Not only was I a permit holder, I was also a firearms range volunteer. I had been for a solid 6 months. training and training for handgun carry permits. And I'll never know now if that training would have been helpful or useful because I was denied that chance. If there's anything that I can tell our legislators, it is bad guys don't follow the law. And you know, I think the lawmakers, they created these gun-free zones naively thinking that it would protect people. But you see, actually what happens is the opposite. Gun-free zones are killing zones.
Yeah, got that right.
And it tells the bad guys, the criminals, that everyone in this building, this establishment,
Here's where to go.
cannot defend themselves. So
Here's
it's almost
the big
an open
bullseye.
invitation for violence.
Yeah.
You know, I really, I have a great deal of respect for the military and our law enforcement. I later learned that a United States Marine just happened to be in the crowd who chose not to run. When my husband's murderer put the gun back inside of his jacket, zipped it up, just acted like he was going to walk out without anyone knowing that he was the shooter, that Marine tackled that man. And about 4 or 5 other men jumped on top of him and they all held him until the police came. That man went to trial finally. Had to wait 3 years to get any form of justice, and to me it was a crumb of justice. The psychologist in the trial said that he was paranoid delusional. That's what they diagnosed him with. He had a mental illness. He had never been diagnosed. He lived to the age of 43, had no criminal record, not even as much as a parking ticket in his history. And then he goes and does something like this. And then, of course, after the fact, he gets diagnosed.
Yeah.
Well, my husband is dead. And that court, it's not a criminal justice system, guys. I'm here to tell you that it's just a system.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yep.
Right.
And I believe that that's part of the problem as well. We're not tough enough on crime, on these murderers. This man only got 23 years. He got second-degree murder. Now, let me explain something to you real quick. We later learned that this man wrote a blog the day before he murdered my husband, Ben. And that blog said, "Predator versus prey. I know who you are. Run. Where will you work where I can't find you? At home, at dinner, in your sleep, every waking moment. This is going to be very painful. What kind of life do you have now?" Then, I learned when they searched his truck in the parking lot, they found 2 more guns, a shotgun and a rifle, ammunition, a baseball bat, binoculars, gloves, rope, and a knife. Now that is not a medical kit.
Nope.
I have no idea
Premeditated
what
kit.
the ultimate plan was, but I cannot help but to think that it also included me.
Oh yeah, it did.
The whole point is, you know, I hear so much on the media about gun crime, gun murders. And I just want to say, get rid of the gun part. Let's talk about crime and murderers.
Yeah.
I have a great deal of respect for law enforcement, and unfortunately, those police officers were not able to get there in enough time for us. And I'm here to tell you that those guys have a very dangerous job. I respect them. When they put that uniform on, you know, they don't know if they're going to come home to their family. They risk a lot to try and help protect us. But even officers know they cannot be anywhere and everywhere at any time. And the police officers that I've spoken with, they would much rather find an innocent, law-abiding person with a smoking gun and a dead bad guy than the other way around. I never blamed the gun for my husband's murder. I'm a gun owner. Everyone here is here to support the Second Amendment, and there are plenty of people carrying right here.
Yeah.
I blame the murderer. And you know what? Those naive legislators, I can't help but sort of blame them.
Yeah.
That's right. Right.
You know, I don't hold anger in my heart about it, but I just hope that they can hear me and really think about what they're doing when they create these gun-free zones. We need to be able to defend ourselves and our families.
Anywhere, anytime.
It's really, really important, and I wish there were more media that would talk to victims of violent crime that hold an opposite point of view, that actually are gun owners and believe in the right of self-defense, and we don't see that in the media. We have Pierce Morgan.
Go across the pond, dude.
Leaking boat.
Programs that go on there, but then he won't even let them talk. They can't even give their point of view, and the media is so biased and so unfair. I want you guys to know that it really touches my heart to see so many people here defend our liberty, stand up for our Second Amendment, because all of these people that you see on TV that have been victimized, I feel horrible for them. But the media makes it seem like if you're a gun owner and you support owning a gun, that you didn't care about these poor children at Sandy Hook Elementary. They make it seem like you're the bad guy, and you're not. The NRA is made up of moms, dads, brothers, sisters, military, law enforcement, law-abiding Americans. We are the face of America.
That's right.
And to listen to threats against members of the NRA, this is just ridiculous. Yeah. Blame the murderer. Don't blame an object. You know, murder is a behavior. Blame the person. Let's start looking at mental health. Let's get rid of gun-free zones. Let's let law-abiding people carry so they can defend themselves and their families.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not going to take up much more time, but I really appreciate everyone being here, and today's Gun Appreciation Day. Go out and do something fun with your family. Go to the range. Teach someone about gun safety. And take your family out. Teach your friends. And most of all, stand up for your Second Amendment rights and refuse to be a victim.
So where do we go from here? Some good things to think about. I'm going to add a couple of things to that. Number one, we've got a table down here sort of lost in the crowd. But there's a petition
right over here, about 10, 15 feet in front of the Gadsden flag over here, in support of the Second Amendment. You took the time to come down here. Please take the time to stand in line. Make sure you sign that petition supporting our Second Amendment right.
Got it.
Number 2, remember this name, Joe Carr. Remember this bill number, HB 42.
HB 42.
Contact your representative, your senator, and tell them you want them signed on as a co-sponsor to HB 42.
Yeah.
Right every day. Number 3, gather together with like-minded people. Find somebody you don't know here in the crowd. Maybe you find somebody from your neighborhood. Connect with groups. Hitchcock 45. He's got comments up there. Take part. You may notice around here some guys kind of dressed like this. The Sons of Liberty Riders. They look like they might be trouble. However, when I lock open and I'm out, I'm looking for the leather vest to hide behind because they got lots of pockets with more bullets. And finally, live your life as you are today. Free men and women. Free America. Don't stand up for your rights. Live free. Yes. Or die.
Yeah. My dead cold hands.
Thank you so much for being here. The last thing I want you to do is to thank Jason Weller and Terry Geronimo, the organizers of today. I cannot tell you how honored I am to be here with you today. Eric said this was the safest place in Nashville. I got to agree. I would say that this is among the most hallowed places in Nashville today as well.
Yeah.
Because of what we believe. We have 235 years of history that men and women like you, Tennessee volunteers, have stood up and said, I will carry the torch. Can't speak for that guy, can't speak for this guy, but I will be free. I will stand up. I will carry liberty's torch. This is our country. As you go home, hug your wife, your husband, your kids. Tell your neighbors how good it is to live in Tennessee. How proud you are to be a Tennessean and an American. And that you will always be free.
Yeah.
At 2 o'clock this afternoon, for those of you who want to stick around, right over here there's a rally for life. Tennessee Right to Life is gathering. If you want to talk about assault on the right of the innocent, abortion, I kind of think that fits the bill.
Yeah.
And if you would, please, close with me. And let's sing God Bless America together. Shall we not be all cheesy? Grab somebody's hand next to you. And sing God Bless
America, land of the free, beside her and guide her with the light from above. Through the valley, through the oceans, wide and flow. God bless America, our home.
leaving a better America than you found. Yeah. God bless you all.
You are squirmy.
Guys, one more thing. Going forward,
You can hold her and I'll hold her.
Guns Across America, Tennessee, on Facebook. Just hit the search bar, sign up, stuff like this that comes up later. Give the information to you.
Done. You gotta go this way.
Is there a small grassy knoll somewhere?